we're back. The lights are a little bit brighter. We're just sorting a few things out. Obviously, what went wrong with Tazo was the cameras overheated. The chat was too much. The temperature got too high. So we've got a big bad boy, little purchased air conditioning unit in the corner, which is currently off, but it's been firing out the cold vibes for a while. I'm really proud of myself. I'm going to put a picture of this on the story. I've got these little fans that are like on these little spider legs, and they are hanging off the back of the tripods, blowing... Well, they're circulating air, aren't they, around the cameras? So
and not making any of us feel uncomfortable at one point when the cameras might fall over.
And I've got the screens up so I can see if any of them go off. You said you thought you heard beeping.
I did, but I thought Tazo had left his phone on loud. I thought it was going to be that, shouldn't have your phone on loud. I didn't want to address it, but yeah, in hindsight, I definitely heard beeping and I definitely heard the cameras go off. Apologies
for the cameras going off on Tazo. Sorry to Tazo and sorry to everyone who was checking it out. We'll do our absolute best to make sure it never happens again.
However, if we did know at the time they went off, we would have addressed it, but we would have continued the pod because we were having an absolute laugh.
We didn't know. It was my fault. I take responsibility.
But what an absolute legend he was, and what an episode that was.
Yeah, I've got a question for you two, right? Say, I'm going to come to you first. You've got time to think. Say if you lent someone 50 quid, right? You lent someone, a friend, £50, and then it was like, so you were like, there's your 50 quid. They were like, cheers, thank you very much. They'd ask to borrow it. How long do you think you'd leave it?
I'm just writing it in my notes, so I remember.
How long do you think how long do you think you'd leave it before you like sent them a message, said to them in the pub, tapped them on the shoulder? How long would you give someone before you reached out and was like, come on now, I need my 50 quid back?
I'd make them pay us back in beer instead.
Neck oils. I'd lend them £6 a pint.
I'd lend them 50 quid for a night out, and I'd make them buy every round.
Well, I didn't even let you finish the question. That was already wrote in mine.
You were already noting it down.
I've got it.
Are you a money lender?
Felix owes me 50 quid.
Are you a money lender?
Yeah, I'd like to. I used to be very, very stingy. I had a reputation for being very stingy. However, I feel now I am very, very generous. And some of my mates will listen to that and they'll laugh and they'll go, but like, I am very generous now. But I was very, very stingy. So when we used to go to Gateshead College back in the day, someone owed me a couple of quid, it would go straight in the notes that they owe me a couple of quid. I mean, actually...
You're setting a lound.
With interest as well.
Do you know what, actually? Shout out Bobby Walters. You still owe me 30 quid from 2040. No, you're laughing, but he does, and I want it back. Bobby, I want my 30 quid back, so come on.
Is that for real?
That's 100% for real.
Call out. We're going to clip that off and you can send it.
Is this the one that's now under the thumb?
That is Bobby who's under the thumb.
Messages lass.
I was going to say, we've established...
She must control the bank accounts.
Well, I can't get in touch with Bobby because the signal's not very good under his lass's thumb. No wonder I haven't got my money back. But also, then there's Dave Foster. Shout out Dave Foster. He owes me a bit of money, but I refuse to get it back off him because I like holding it over him. Like, he would literally give me the money straight away, but I refuse to because I just want to keep holding it over him. Speaking of getting something back, I know you're going to ask about the Doc Martens. I haven't had time yet.
No. To be fair, you were a busy week. We were only recorded the other day and we're straight back in, so
Podception, as Anth always says, we only record... I've hit the mic and I'm going to get wrong because I told Anth off in the last episode and he looked like he was going to kill me, but I've done it myself. I haven't had time, but we did only record that episode on Tuesday and it is only Friday now, so I'll do it by the next episode.
Back on the money thing, I still think I owe a notable Newcastle nightlife figure £1,000. And I'm hoping that they've forgotten. It's been a long time since they lent me it. So I still owe about £1,000 to a notable figure of Newcastle nightlife. Another bit of money that I
haven't forgotten. Give me it.
It was if you'd lend me £1,000. There's another bit of money though. Like, so there was many years ago, I used to go get sent by the lads from Digital down to Brighton to DJ. There's a story involved with why I had to stop DJing down there. It goes something along the lines of that. I got that drunk that I thought the club shut at 3 when it in fact shut at 4, so I just packed up and left at 3 and walked out through a full club, and I was, I think, bad, but I mean, I didn't live in Brighton, so it didn't bother me. But David already booked like the flight to Brighton for the rest of till the rest of the year, so he was like, you owe us that money, so I'm just going to take it out your wages as you keep working.
Really?
And I used to get 20 drinks vouchers every night I worked at Digital, and they reduced to 4 overnight.
How are you feeling as you're leaving the club at 3 o'clock thinking? Are you thinking like, I have absolutely nailed this set. It is full club and I've finished.
I was not feeling anything. I stayed in this hotel room and apparently it was covered in sick the next day, and I don't remember being sick. So
that's a sign of an excellent night out.
I have no memory much beyond them going, what would you like to drink? And I said, a bottle of Jack, please. Much beyond just starting to swig the bottle of Jack from the neck of the bottle, I don't really have any recollection whatsoever.
You do get quite drunk, don't you?
Occasionally. I like a beverage.
When obviously we were...
Just a light beverage.
2016, 2017, we used to have many a conversation after your set at Digital, didn't we, on a Saturday night?
And was I inebriated?
Yeah, and I was always sober. I was sober because I'd been working, so I didn't have a single drink. He didn't have a single drink of water. I always used to think, I was like, this is this great conversation, this Dean. And I'm thinking, you're not going to remember any of it tomorrow, Felix. I think you did.
Oh, yeah.
But like, you always seemed so drunk. But like, fair play, you remember it all the next day.
We did have some great fucky times. It did. Very fucky.
When was the last time? Was Ibiza the last time you were really drunk, like pass out drunk?
Yeah, Ibiza on the last night when I was drinking from the bottle of Belvedere. Well, not from it, but I was drinking.
But you're not a big drinker.
I don't like being drunk. I like...
But you're not a regular drinker either, are you? Like, you're an occasion drinker. Like, you're not just like, I'll just have a few pints tonight.
No.
Or a few Desserano and Cokes.
Yeah, I like being out and having a drink and in an environment where everyone's having a drink and you're having a party. I like partying, essentially.
Yeah.
I would never, if I was watching the football at home, I would never just have like 1 or 2 drinks. I either go out and have a good time and party, or I just don't touch.
You're a late starter as well, aren't you? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I'd rather have a can of Coke Zero.
Because you know that you want to be going till like 6 in the morning, so you start late. Whereas I think I'm an early starter.
I'm in bed by 9 p.m.
It's so funny. I was telling Joe before. Ultimately, our communication goes like this. I'm the link between you two, because ultimately, like, I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning and had like loads of messages from you that you sent at 5 past 4.
Yeah.
And then I was still awake at
I wasn't drunk, by the way. I just work more.
And then I was still awake at about 7 in the morning. That's when you started texting us. Yeah. So like, you go to sleep early and then get up early. You go to sleep late, and I'm like, there's just blackout. There's times of blackout when the communication can't happen.
I woke up at 8 o'clock today and I seen that you'd read my message. Like, it's stupid o'clock. I was like, but I know you said to me before, you get up in the middle of the night.
I just got to the toilet and read my phone on the toilet.
But then it like kills me because he reads and doesn't reply.
Well, no, because I'm like, what's the point?
You're the king of doing that as well.
Yeah, but do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to be a brilliant parent.
Knocked out one day, you will.
I'm going to be a...
No, but the reason is that...
from there, we established before.
The reason is that I just go, that's it now. He's messaged me, he's gone to sleep. There's no communicating with him until about midday.
But it backfires a couple of times. Hit the mic again. It backfires again. It backfires sometimes when you get up, go to the toilet, read my message. I'm still at work, and I go back to my WhatsApp.
Right.
And I'm seeing blue ticks everywhere. And then I'm fuming because I'm still awake. Like, we've had a conversation once, haven't we, at stupid o'clock in the morning. I'm like, why are you awake? I sent him a message. It's like 5 in the morning. And I'm like, Felix, why are you awake? And he went, why are you awake? Answer is, I don't sleep.
So we've got Scotty T coming on today. We were going to record after we spoke to Scotty. We were going to try and mix things up, but Scotty's kind of pushed it back a bit, so we're recording again in advance of Scotty being in that chair.
And you went fan happy, didn't you? So
yeah, I went fan happy. Is there anything that's off limits? Is there anything that I can't ask Scotty, or you would feel like maybe we shouldn't be discussing?
I feel like anything you think's off limits and that we don't ask Scotty, I think he will tell you anyway. like what an absolute legend he is. And obviously I've had a few phone calls, obviously arranging the times and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're chatting too much on the phone already. I was like, mate, like, save this for the pod, because he's brilliant. I'm excited for this episode.
How did you first meet Scotty?
Do you know what? I was going to touch on this on the pod. I can't even fully remember. I think it was just on a night out once, years and years ago. Probably like a couple of years in for me. I think it was just on a night out, just had a bit of crack, and then obviously it's again, you know, you've both been in the in the nightlife scene and the industry. Like there's certain.
You're in a different circle, though, isn't he? Do you know what I mean?
Anybody,
Yeah,
at my clubs,
because we're in, but also we're a bit in a more of like a DJ scene. So we'd be in the DJ booth. Do you know what I mean? We'd be like, so unless you were a DJ or we probably knew you.
Scotty will have been in your DJ.
He has been in my DJ.
I said, oh, come and do the pod with me, Felix and Anth. And he was like, yeah. He was like, you'll know the guys. He was like, yeah, well, I was like, you'll have been in Felix's DJ booth.
Yeah.
Like you will. I was like, if you like Slipknot, you'll have been in Anth's.
But have you ever met him before?
Briefly, like in passing, not like to sit and talk or whatever.
It used to, because, and I'll bring this up, like, I think for a while, all the Geordie Shore cast were not bad from digital, but I think basically at a certain time early doors, Dave and Rob and whoever else made a decision that like there was certainly no filming.
That's
in digital. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying they were bad from entry, but there was no filming in the way there was filming in Tup Tup and Avika or Boozoo.
Boozoo.
What am I thinking of?
Bijou.
Is it not the same thing?
I like Boozoo though.
Right.
That was the case because we used to always get the phone call as the external promoter. So they'd ring Loose Days and they'd say, can we film at one of your events? And obviously we'd be like, right, yeah, we can do Persistence on a Sunday, you can do Collingwood Street on a Friday.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, what on Saturday? And we're like, oh, digital on a Saturday. And then obviously the club would always be like, no, our blanket rules, no filming for Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
So they did have that rule. By the way, I keep looking at my phone. I normally have it on the floor on Do Not Disturb, but I just, in case Scotty rings, that's why I keep looking on my phone. I've not just turned rude and ignorant and disrespectful all of a sudden. I normally leave it on the floor.
So they came and filmed at Persistence?
Yeah, they have done.
How did it, like, I mean, we're going to touch on a lot of stuff with Scotty, but obviously there's no way, even with an hour of chat with him, we're going to get around all the stuff.
How did part of this episode?
How did it change? How did Persistence change when they were going to come and film? Like, what was different from a normal night?
When there was ever filming in the events, the only thing that really changed is they would ask for a certain area, so the normal go-to would be to give them the VIP
the sunken bit.
Booth.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the sunken.
Legendary.
Obviously, great venue, and like obviously they did a refurb just after COVID, and it's classed the refurb, but I still miss the.
It's the same when we were talking about the God Pod.
God Pod in digital.
In digital, that bit. I don't think do you ever really remember it? Like the glassed off square.
Next to Finger Alley.
Yeah, or Handjob Alley, depending on which you were kind of going for, really, when it used to be.
Did they never multitask? Was it never a communal effort?
Well, the thing is, though, but it started off as Powerhouse, didn't it? Like, it was that, like, digital was Powerhouse, so it was the main, part of that pink triangle.
We never did events there when it was that set up. It was always the Nest when we did events, but I did go as a customer.
Well, the first thing was the God Pod, and it had like the one-way glass, so it was dark on the outside like a car. Do you know what I mean? It was dark on the outside, but you could see out. And then I think the next thing was that the glass went, but it still kind of remained as some sort of VIP.
I just thought it was such for a VIP part of any club. I mean, Digi was in it fucking heyday then. Like, it was mental on it.
Yeah.
So, and I just think like having that God Pod, but like being on the dance floor as well, gave you like such a different type of VIP. It wasn't like VIP where you were like hidden away having a night with yourself. Like, you were like part of the energy of the club pretty much.
The shame about the Nest is you don't really look. I know there's positives, but the shame about the Nest at the club, which is the back at the sort of digital and up above like the back bit, is that you can't really see what's going on. You can't really see the dance floor
at the back of someone.
You can't really see the DJ or anything else. Whereas that God Pod in its day was that if you stood up in there, you were looking straight diagonally across at the DJ. You could see everyone on the crowd. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think we touched on this potentially on the last episode with Tazo. There is a refurb ongoing at digital in the minute, and obviously we'll be starting our stuff there again from September. So I'm really excited to see the finishing thing from that. I think we should have a LooseCast night out.
Yeah,
one time on a Saturday.
You've got a drink though.
I'll drink a neck oil.
I'll have a Desperado and Coke if you're having a neck oil.
No, I'm jealous then. Obviously, like
we'll have a neck oil Desperado chaser.
I'll definitely be in home by
call it a lady boy.
So obviously I just said there, like, my phone keeps going mental and popping up because I normally have it on Do Not Disturb. At the minute it's constant followers for LooseCast.
Nice.
Ever since the MC Tazo episode, we've grown quite a bit on Instagram, but think use that as an excuse to I'll plug it. It's normally Felix, like and subscribe. But anyone who listens, if you don't follow the Instagram, if you can, everyone give LooseCast a follow, and also if you can like and subscribe on YouTube. And we have said that we are going to make a Facebook page this week. You've just made a Twitter page.
I have, yeah.
And you've and we've already got the TikTok as well.
Flying, mate. So TikTok's flying.
LooseCast on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram,
and if you've got any
Facebook,
if you've been watching these episodes and you enjoy them, if you've got any idea of guests that you think we could get on, anyone that you think would be excellent in that chair, drop us a DM, stick us a comment on the YouTube. Let us know who you think we should reach out to and get on.
Well, I was going to say, the thing is now we're out of the podception, as Anth always said, and we're now into we're recording weekly, releasing the following Tuesday, and we kind of know who the guests are a lot. I think I noticed you put it out on the story. We've got Scotty T on Friday. If you have any questions, let us know. I think we'll start doing that a bit more, won't we? And eventually we should get it was your idea, Felix, and I like it. We should get like a LooseCast number, and people can send people can send in voice notes.
Because we can play voice notes through this. It's real swanky.
I like that. So also as well, before we finish the intro, I promised that I would take the Doc Martens back. I didn't do that yet, as I mentioned, but I did promise one more thing that I did. I promised him, I think it was episode 2 with Sam Lavery.
Yeah.
We told him the story about the skateboard, and Felix said, can you find that skateboard?
So this is the mum and dad's original skateboard
garage. It's the only one I've ever had, Felix.
And you went to your mum and dad's for this?
I didn't have an original.
Did you know where it was, or did they have to find it for you?
They found it for me. Oh, they love the pod. They love the pod. So obviously,
first subscribers on YouTube.
They were. True. Shout out to and Steve. But obviously they found it. But again, it is the original. It's the only one. I didn't get it, fall over the slide thing that I told you about, hurt both my shins, get back up and go, I'll get another skateboard because I'm clearly terrible.
Let's have a look at it. How ridden is it?
Would you like to do the honours because it's next to you?
Let's have a look. How ridden do you think this?
Well, do you know what I thought?
Yeah, that's brand new.
but it's actually more ridden than I thought. The only thing I can think of,
he's not really done any. I mean, that's just dust.
That's probably all off that first time.
Really? I mean,
I reckon give me 2 weeks and I'll nail a kickflip on that.
You can take it home. I think you should take it home and nail a kickflip and send a video to us. Do you want to take this home?
I think we need to find somewhere where we can just put it in the background. With the Adaboo game, we're starting to build up some.
We are, and I mentioned this the other day. I don't know why I've got my hand up like I'm in school, but I had this conversation with you the other day that I think the ambition, love it in the boardroom.
Yeah.
We obviously know it gets a little bit hot, although today these fans are absolutely doing the trick. We all burnt to a crisp on the Shaq episode, the Sam episode, and then again on the Tazo episode. Robin and Bammy were a bit luckier. It wasn't as hot them days. And to be fair, it was raining with Tazo, but it still was hot in here just because of all the...
it might not have been hot, but it was tense when Bammy was in.
Yeah, it was.
Let's be honest.
It was, but obviously it's the heat from all the equipment, isn't it? So I've said, I think, and
the hot air coming out of all of our mouths.
Very true. Very true. But the ambition long term, I think, is to have an actual LooseCast studio, because we're currently in the boardroom in LooseCast HQ, which is also Loose Days and Loose Fest HQ.
Yeah.
But we want to have our own LooseCast
permanent studio.
It'll be interesting today as well. Remember before the Shaq episode, we recorded kind of 8 o'clock on the Bigg Market, and we're seeing how busy it was.
Saturday night.
By the time we have finished this, Friday night is going to be in full swing.
It's going to be kicking right off, innit?
It is. Week 12 bank holiday?
No, next week.
Week 4 bank holiday, yeah. Week 4 bank holiday. Bank holidays next weekend. However, if you had been clever there and you were going, when the podcast is, it's technically this weekend.
Yeah.
Everyone get themselves to Persistence on Sunday.
Shout out to everyone who got their A-level results.
Yeah, that was a biggie yesterday.
A lot of those people will be coming freshers. So a lot of those people will be coming to Newcastle to party. And we're going to talk a lot with Scotty about partying in Newcastle. But a lot of those freshers coming out. Let's have a little quick go around. A-level wise, how'd you get on? I hate the panic. We talked about this, didn't we? The panic in his eyes. How did you get on with your A-levels?
Didn't do A-levels.
You didn't do A-levels?
No.
Fair enough. How did you get on?
Hold on.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because I was becoming a professional footballer, like at the time. That's why. Like, it wasn't as if I shied away.
So you did GCSEs,
yeah,
and then you became like a trainee, or was YTS still a thing then? Or am I?
Oh no, I wasn't good enough for that. So I basically didn't get a scholarship. I then went to Gateshead College. Yeah, it was the Gateshead College Sports Scholarship Program. So basically, it was for all the people who like were.
Is that BTEC diploma?
It was a BTEC, I think.
So you've got a BTEC in
catching footballs.
I love that. Can you bring that in? I want to see that.
Do you know what? I actually... right, okay. I don't know if I'll be able to find that. I think we got a BTEC.
Your mum and dad must have that framed.
Yeah, Josh Holland, he's had 3 shout-outs now on the pod. Josh will keep us right. Josh will tell us what we had. Great. And then after I did them...
Comment, please, Josh. I want to know what it is.
He will.
And I'm going to ask Sue and Steve for a copy.
He will. Because what did he share yesterday? He shared when MC Tazo met MC Shiny Teeth or something. That's what he came out with on his story. But yeah, Josh Holland will keep us right. But we did 2 years of that, and then I did a foundation degree after. But it was weird. Oh, Scotty T's talking to us, so I think we should put a pin in this.
Right, let's wind it up. Let's go.
Put a pin in this. That's Scotty.
1, 2, 3, 4. Scotty T in the fucking house. I'm buzzing about this one. This one's going to be off it. I've heard you're going to start doing a bit of DJing. Is that true?
You know, it is. I've been wanting to do it for years. In lockdown, I learned a bit of it, but the thing is, I could make loads more money like doing PAs with DJing.
Yeah.
But like, I just find myself just getting the mic and talking shit. Like, I prefer. You know what I mean? Like, I get paid a lot of money just to get on the mic in 5 seconds. Oggy, and then like fucking who wants to. No,
from Tazo to Scotty T.
You know what I mean? When I'm doing my gigs in Mag at the minute, I can literally get on stage and just go, I fucking hate you, zone. But go.
So where's that at? Bananas.
So I've been doing that for 9 years. Like they say, the MCP have booked me for about 9 years now. They have the plane fucking flying on the beach, mate, saying fucking Scotty T.
So question: did this ever happen in the end? I remember there was talk of it. I remember Aaron, who owns Digital, saw the idea of what they're doing, Hi Ibiza.
He DJ'd in the toilets on the launch?
The toilets are Digital. Did that happen in the end? Did it actually happen in the end?
Yeah, but listen, man, it was weird though, because I was sort of DJing in there. Like, some kid was obviously like doing the thing, and I was like pretending. But then like some couple of lasses were coming in, started having a shit and that, and I was like, whoa, man, yes.
No one have to pay for that, don't you? No one make people pay.
I was literally like, I was gonna shag you, but now I'm not.
Yeah, I was in the main room. It was when we had all them Daft Monkeys and everything else. It was like Mella's launch.
I was getting dragged around like outside. Did you like in like I can't remember what it was now. It was like I was in like some like carnival booth thing. I can't remember. I did have shagging someone in the toilet.
So if you learnt DJ, you'd get more money.
No, it's not just about that though. It's like I can DJ. I mean, I know like all the basics and that, like, but I reckon if I was to get up and like be like, oh, and everyone was like, think, oh, I'm going to be a DJ, and I just fucked it up, I'd be like, oh, liberty, you know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say, we keep touching on this, and I mentioned it to you on the phone before, but obviously Felix, ridiculously good DJ, Anth has DJ'd for ages as well.
Teachers?
Well, this is what I keep saying to them. This is what I keep saying to them.
If you've got patience for someone with ridiculous amounts of ADHD who can't sit still and will never be on time, then
sounds like the perfect DJ. Sounds like exactly like who I work with right now.
Like I was saying before, so I've had Shaq on, DJ. Yeah. Obviously, Sam can DJ. Tazo, when we did the last episode with Tazo, MCs but also DJs. I need to learn how to DJ.
Yeah, I love it. It's Tazo with me. Like.
And then unbelievably, when you were on the phone, you were like, I'm learning to DJ. I was like, honestly, like I can't win. Everyone DJs, but Dean and Scotty back to back.
No, maybe I just need someone to teach us all. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll teach you, and then they just block us.
This guy here.
Hold on.
This guy here, I reckon, Felix. So we were saying before, we'll smash today's episode out, and then we'll do another one in future. And I feel by the next time we do another one with you,
I reckon I teach you both at the same time.
On the decks, honestly,
same time.
I'll
hold the camera.
Yeah, Aaron will let us have the DJ booth, and we'll teach you both. What was the first club you ever went to in Toon in Newcastle?
Oh, mate. So this mate. So I've been going out. I remember when Foundation was open.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favourite.
Before me.
Before you, mate. Yeah. So you know where Manabank is, the student halls.
Yeah.
I know them dead well. I have a story about them as well, mate. I noticed how like the exit is on like the 3rd floor, but every time I used to leave, I used to go to the bottom floor. I used to get stuck in like the bin like area, like I used to have to climb over the gate and fucking like go through some back alley, like over some barbed wire fence, and that's how we get out. It's like a fort. But anyway, I stood just down the road from Manor Bank. You had a Foundation nightclub, right. And then they used to do. Obviously, that's where like they used to have Smile on a Monday, pound a drink, and then obviously I had Wax on, Jaunt, Shindig.
Stone Love.
That's where that was.
Stone Love.
Oh, that was.
So what year is this?
Promise.
What year's all this?
Friday night on a Friday, mate.
Maitland.
Judge Jules.
Yeah.
What year's all this going on?
I mean, it's
obviously pre-2012.
It's pre it's sort of millennium time, innit? It's like it's around that time of place. I used to go to Shindig all the time. I used to go. When I was booking Youssef in 1997, 1988, and that's how I met Jim, who was running Shindig with Rob and Scott and Scooby, because we had Youssef on the Friday night and we took him over on the Saturday, and I met Jim, and that's how I got in with that crack. At the time, Promise would have been on a Friday, Stone Love would have been on a Thursday.
Oh, he's Stone Love, but can you also remember? It's still there, Pravda.
Yeah,
the bar, the one just it's like
it's been empty for years, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been empty.
I don't know why no one's bought that building, man. Get around. I've told you. He's like, no, I'll be now. He's like, but he's used to get red and blue pigs instead of like red and blue wickets. It was just like red and blue pigs. I used to have about 5 of them and just be.
Then they used to do a white one, and now it used to be called like White Eye or something. It was like a proper knock-off Smirnoff Ice.
Mate.
So was Foundation your first club?
No, that was the first proper nightclub,
right?
I would say. But then again, I used to go Tup when it was Bar M. I used to go when I Bar M. I remember when Oso was Bar Z. I used to go down Cage Bar and that and Kiss. I remember when Market Shaker was Liquid. Yeah, I even remember when the fucking gate was the Co-op. I didn't get
Summary of that, like.
No, mate. But like it's Powerhouse used to be like at Waterloo Street.
Well, Powerhouse was digital. Like digital started off as Powerhouse.
But
before that,
yeah, but before it was even there, it was up in Waterloo Street,
right?
Like like behind Waffle Lounge, that street.
Yeah.
And then they used to, I don't know if you can remember Rock Shots and that.
Yeah.
They used to have Forbidden Fruit Night.
And World Headquarters used to be. World Headquarters used to be over the road from where Digital is now, isn't it? It used to be like, what was that? Was that where World Headquarters used to be?
I've always known World. That's one of my. I mean, still to this day, that's one of my favourite clubs. Like,
there's no lights. It's great. It's just a black box.
I just love it. I used to remember when everyone just jumping up and down on the floor. It was going to cave in.
So you got to Magaluf in the morning?
Probably about 7:30.
Is it always the same flight every week?
Yeah, roughly roundabout. Like if I make them. You know what it is though, like, is there a backup if you miss the flight?
That's
why I get the first. So I've got about another 3 options. If I miss them, I've got the other week when I missed one and I had to drive to Edinburgh, so I booked one quickly and I went to me mate, I was like, jump in the car, I was like, I need you to drive to Edinburgh and drive my car back. I'd floated to Edinburgh and literally my car was smoking. I didn't know what, I think because for some reason I was like on the motorway and I decided to put in 4-wheel drive like on the motorway and like something happened anyway. Anyway, I was like, fuck this. So I was just going through like lights and everything. Like just read everything. I literally went to pick up and drop off and just went see you later. I made it by about 2 minutes because obviously it's a lot of money for me to miss a gig out there. Plus, you know what it is, like for going over there, I get me and a pal. I get the pay for both the flights, 5-star hotel and Port Ales. I don't actually stay in Magaluf because I'm not allowed to be seen there in the day because apparently like. Well, if I get seen there in the day, then no, like people like are looking to go to the club in the night time. Probably because I've fucking just gone mad and like
you've already been up and down the strip doing.
I go there and like it's like literally I ram the club out. Like I sell out every week. You know what I mean? Somehow still. You know
what was the? I remember because I used to see you. Like I used to go to Belfast all the time to DJ in Thompson's, and I used to just see you. Like you'd be flying to the Northern Land as well with other like Geordie Shore cast members and that. Like,
well, can you remember Rory Donaghy and Chrissy Stanfield?
Yeah.
Well, Rory Donaghy, he obviously was in Newcastle, but then when he went over to Belfast, like he was booking us for some gigs.
Yeah, well, I used to see you in the airport all the time. But I was going to ask you, like you saying they're selling out Magaluf, still now living it. What's the worst PA you've ever done? Like what? Like over all the years, what's the worst place you've ever turned up to?
I wouldn't say worst as in not busy because I was busy as well. When I went after I won Big Brother by a mile, by the way.
I was going to say we need to do a section on that.
I've got a question about that.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But after I won that, right, so I went to Falkirk in Scotland. It was my first PA.
Yeah.
Mate, I swear to God, right, I walked in and you're talking like the raggest Scottish people. Mate, man, they were chinning the doorman and that and everything. Man, big lasses were just like just knocking doorman out, like everything. I was like, just getting out. Literally, I walked in, right, literally, then I had a gun. I got paid for it. I was like, literally, the club just went berserk. They were like, oh, you've got to go, it's too crazy.
So like literally how long were you actually there for? Like
I was literally there for 15 minutes.
No way.
I know. Their money as well. I wasn't even going to see how do you want to come back. I was just like, knee chance. I put it on a table in the middle of the club and everyone was like, there was Scotty, they was coming over like that and the doorman, they were just, mate, it was ridiculous, man.
I remember we did Joy Essex years ago at Dirty Pop when I was doing the academy for Mike. And Joy Essex,
I remember that.
And Joy Essex came on and like everyone just started holding bottles at him. Like, look, I know he's a lovely lad, I'm not being like disrespectful, but everyone started hurling bottles at him and then he kind of was like, he left and he was like, why is everyone
these are
throwing bottles at us?
I tell people to hold bottles at me. I was like, who's ready to meet the biggest cunt in the world? And everyone's like,
make sure the lids are still on them though.
I tell people thrillers and everything, man. I love it.
Big Brother.
But I think it's like, obviously being from the northeast now, like it's a lot different, isn't it? Like, all them. I mean, no disrespect to like. I'm not saying this is Joey Essex, but like no disrespect to any of the Londoners though. Like a lot of them used to do the PAs. Like they used to go there. Right, and then literally, as soon as it's done, go home, not drink. Whereas me, I'll be the last person out. I'll be fucking glass collecting the end of the night, man.
I remember being in Blue Bamboo and they had Callum Best. Well, they had Callum Best in and it was like, and again, it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, I used to work at Blue Bamboo, right? Like, I used to do topless play in the bar. I'm not gonna lie, I lied about my age at the time. I used to get taken back to hotels, man, like 30-year-olds, that man, like I ended up at that hostel over the road from Ramsden's, you know, the pawnbrokers, where the Greg's is, where that Sam Fenner's a few doors down. Ended up at that hostel, mate, with some lass, and there was like 8 other people in the room, and I was just like, Pierre, I was like, oh, what's going on? I was just like, this lass in there, but I was literally working Blue Bamboo. She's like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, yeah, 28, mate, I was 17.
It's a bit different from when guys used to lie about their age to go to Second World War, and do you know what I mean? Scotty's lying about his age to get in a gig of Blue Bamboo.
I think she knew as well, though. She was just like...
But we've said this in a couple of the previous episodes with Tazo and chatting about like the Northeast. It's like probably the best place for how supportive everyone is and like wants everyone to do well. So I imagine there's an element of that as well. Like you talk about Joey Essex and that Essex, they do the job and they go in Newcastle. Like everyone loves you and like you party with them and stuff like that. So you're always going to have support.
That's why I get really good, man. Because I'll go to a PA. And then I'll just not leave.
Yeah. Like, they've got to rebook it because you're still there.
They'll be like, oh yeah, you're done. I'll be like, oh, fuck off, what do you mean?
No, but I've always said this.
Drank the bar dry.
Like, even like I say, you've just won Big Brother, you've done all these things, and like, you watch it, you're still like so nice to every single person.
I'm
like,
too nice sometimes.
You're class to every single person. Like, honestly, the amount of times I see him in Spotlight and we're having a conversation, come back 5 minutes, he's like, 5 minutes later, he's like moved like 1 inch because he's just having too many conversations.
Man, I walk in there, like, people don't even say hello, they just went, photo! And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not a robot, man. You know what I mean? But I'm like...
The night you won Big Brother by a mile, what did you do that night?
I was going to say, can I hear this story? Because I've never heard this story. So how did it even all come about?
Wait, like, obviously, me, that was weird, right? When I never actually watched it back, like, the full thing, but I remember them, like, saying, the introducers, when I walked in Big Brother, introducers is Turbo Dick. Is it? So I'm thinking to myself, like, like, but obviously everyone's seen, like, because I mean I'm a nice boy, you know what I mean, like obviously everyone thinks I'm this, which I am, but this wild.
By the way, like, massive, I said that there, but like, massive shout out, like, you absolutely sound us out to everyone who meet you.
I mean, I think I spent the whole time in Big Brother just doing laps, because I've got ADHD, mate, so I just couldn't sit still. I was like up, down, up, and
so was it Big Brother or Celebrity Big Brother? Is it
Celebrity Big Brother?
Come on now.
Well, I know, but I didn't.
Big difference.
Come on now. How?
I know.
It's not fucking Dave from South Shields, man.
Hey, that's my pal.
Some Turbo Dick, man.
But my point is, I didn't know if, like, because I haven't watched Big Brother in a few years, I didn't know if, like, later.
It hasn't been on a few years, hasn't it?
Well,
he ended it. Bang, shut it down.
No way, what can it be that?
I didn't know if, like, as time went on, they started, because you remember when Big Brother first happened years and years ago, it was like sort of normal people, wasn't it? Just like you say, Dave from South Shields.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Was it not Anthony Hutton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few from Newcastle.
But then as time went on, they did try and like get creative with the people to put in. So I didn't know if it was just like, we'll put Scotty and watch it.
Not like big headed now, but I think mine was the most watched.
Yeah.
Really?
And I think I won the votes by the biggest margin.
Really? Who was in your one?
It was like Angie Bowie, David Guest, Tiffany.
He doesn't know any of the people you just mentioned.
It was Megan McKenna.
Yeah, no her.
Stephanie Davies. What's his name? What's his name? Irish lad who was on. What's his name? I can't remember. But that was one where they were like, David's dead. Remember that?
Yes.
And everyone was like kicking off, and obviously that Tiffany kept trying to come see us in the shower, and she was like, damn. I was like, aye.
So did you know who everyone was when you went in, or was some of them?
I knew Megan McKenna, and I knew obviously there was that. Johnny Partridge as well. Darren Day. He's a lovely bloke. Really? He had some funny stories like when he was in there. Who was? I was Jeremy O'Connell. He was the one who was in there. That Irish kid.
What's that?
He was on. I can't remember what it was, man. It was something daft like fucking.
This is why I was like, I can imagine it being, because I don't even know who that one is. Obviously, I know a lot of the ones you've said, but like if you go on, obviously because it's a celebrity Big Brother, everyone will feel like everyone should know them. I was just like, who the fuck are you? Like? And I imagine you going, I don't know.
Gemma Collins is in it now.
Really?
I remember I made her a birthday cake out, and I just launched it against the wall.
Did you already know her before or not?
Wait, I know that.
No, like, did you know her personally before or not?
No, obviously, like, the things with the reality shows and that, like, everyone, like, we know each other on a personal level, even though we haven't met.
Yeah.
Like, but I know Joey, like, Mario and that, like, and a couple of the lads, like, I know a lot of them, Chelsea boys and that, and things like that, and, like, they're all sound. I mean, but now you've got, like, Love Island, like, all these, like, X on the Beach and that, and, like, me, man, I had done that as well, didn't I? Might as well have been Scotty T on the beach, mate. mate. Literally, first lad to get rammed on reality TV. Can I just say on that TV?
What did you do that night? You won. You came out. You won. What did you do that night? Where did you go? Like, what? How did you party?
Mate, you tell me. I walked out. Obviously, it was. I seen Emma Stone. You know, it is. I forgot she was pregnant, bless her. And I went out and I gave her a massive cuddle like that. The baby nearly popped out. I was like, but listen, I'd done the interview, but I was just like, I walked down. I was just like, yes, come on. And then I think I went out that night, and then I just sort of
Were you in London? You went out in London, just
went out
blitzed
in London,
it.
Down there, I went out and blitzed it. Oh no, actually, I know what I did. Like. I can't really say.
I was going to say, you mentioned before we started which camera to look at. He did the little look. I know what I did.
No, not that. But should I say who? No, who I did.
He's not telling us that one. He's not telling us.
Was it Gemma Collins?
Oh no. Knee dry with that, like.
Class, man.
No, but it was a festival, man. But X on the Beach was good as well, to be fair, though. That's a ruthless show, that, like. Yeah. I got asked recently to do the celebrity version of it, like X on the Beach. And I was like, yeah, man, like, you'd literally just, you'd fill the beach. I'd be like a school of sardines just walking through the water.
It's like Thailand when we've got that rave on the beach.
Literally like being like
Fatboy Slim, that massive rave.
Coming out the sea. And I'd be like, oh, fuck.
What's your favourite one you've done out of all the shows?
Favourite TV show I've done? Mate, it's Geordie Shore. Mm-hmm. Mate, it's you know what it is. Back in the day when we first did it, it was mental. Like, obviously, it got a lot more strict, like, due to certain things were happening. Like, but when we were like going to Greece and like to Europe and that, like, and Iceland, that, mate, it was just a proper laugh.
Yeah,
like obviously back then with the clubs and that, like, because when it first started, it's always been big, but like it was a lot more lenient.
Yeah,
like we used to just get absolutely smashed, and like people used to think it was easy to pull a lass on the hardest thing ever.
Really?
Because we, like, say if we wanted to get a lass, right? Say if we were all out in the club, we're all sitting around like saying Bijou, right? And we were like, right, okay, we couldn't just go and talk to birds. We'd have to like get one of like the runners and that, like, be like, oh yeah, that bird over there, like, go up here. Like, so they'd run over and they'd be like, oh, like, do you want to come and like have a drink with Scott? And obviously they'd be like, yeah. And then they'd have to, before they even come on camera, they'd have to basically like go in front of another camera out the back, and they'd be like, look, like, this is my name, this is my driving license, and then I'd have to talk to them and everything like that. And then if they want to come out of the house, they had to have their passport, no matter what.
Really?
So if they didn't have it, right, like which happened quite a lot, no matter where they live, I'd like drive to theirs and pick their passport up. So we just have to go, but they had to, when we got back to the house eventually, they had to sit in front of a camera before we even went in for literally half an hour and basically like, do you consent to having sex on telly?
Yeah.
Like, because obviously for security reasons and that, like, they used to be like, yes, I want to get shagged on telly. And then, like, obviously, everyone else would be back in the house, then you have to walk in with them, and then they'd feel embarrassed and that, like, but I still managed to pull it off. Every time.
Did you live there full time while it was filming, or was it just the weekends or whatever?
No, I would just live there full time, mate. We didn't have phones or anything, man.
Right.
Like, literally, man. Like, sometimes we were, like, out and about, like, I was like, oh, like, can I go to the shop? And, like they'll be like, oh, no, we'll go for it. It's like, yeah, man, just, like, leave it alone. Like, I just want to go.
So how long
go buy a pack from Haribo, I can't even do it.
How long was filming, and how long were you in that house for?
5 weeks at a time, right. Very though. Then we used to get breaks in between, but we had down days where we're allowed a phone for like an hour, or we used to watch films and that, like, or just. But apart from that, mate, it was strict.
Who are you closest
pretty much
with?
Like Big Brother.
But when you got loads of trouble, when you got kicked out of the house, you had to go home for a few days. It was a buzz because everybody just go straight out of town. That,
Did you ever do that on purpose so you could get sent over?
Not on purpose, though. But I got kicked out quite a lot. Times when me and guys used to get kicked out, and it's like, oh. Like, I'd get kicked out like the next night, I'd be like, I always want to let them go out tonight, and then we would go and they'd be filming somewhere, and me, I'd be like in another club, just going mad. Like,
who are you closest with now? Like all these years afterwards, who are you closest with from Geordie Shore?
From all, like Nathan, Aaron, Chloe, Sophie, Charlotte. Mostly like Aaron and Charlotte, really. Like,
yeah. We want to get Aaron on the pod eventually.
Aaron, he's going for a lot of them at the minute. Right. Like, I'm not going to go into details, but he's going for a lot of them in a blessing, but I'm sure he will do it. Nathan was at Nathan came with Bananas in Magaluf.
Really?
Like, I made, man. You should see the size of him now, man. Oh, mate, he's like just walking around like that. He's like, you know what I mean? Like,
how did you get scouted for Geordie Shore? How did it all start?
Let me be completely honest.
Yeah.
Right, so I don't know if you remember when they were scouting for Geordie Shore, they would go around town like asking like, oh, do you want to be in this TV show and this and that, like all this and that. People were like yes or no. If they were saying like no, they'd be like, oh, could you recommend anyone? Well, my name popped up about 100 times. And then eventually, when they bumped into us, I was in Spybar on Osborne Road, and these people told us, like, oh, we're for this TV show, like, what's your name? And I was like, Scott. And they're like, oh, you Scotty T? I was like, I know, you do want to be this TV show? I was like, no, fuck off. I was like, no, not a chance. And they were like, oh, like, let's like do an interview with you. And I was like, nah, not a chance, no way. I was like, I'm not doing that. Anyway, they kept asking. It was like first, second series, and then basically I was doing Dirters.
Yeah.
And they literally brought a camera to the night, and they were like, please just let us film you for like 20 seconds. I literally just stood against the side. They were like, listen, I asked us a couple of questions and that, and then literally like they loved us, and then they asked us to go on the second series, but then they were in Cancun. I was actually in Cancun at the same time as them with all my pals. That's why if you look at the intro video, there's like me like flapping me shorts around that, like in the background. And then after that, I went travelling to Australia when they were filming. And when they were filming the fourth series, before they were filming, they were ringing us. They were like, just like, please, like, do the show and that, like, honestly. And literally, I made this because all my pals wanted to go and work on like the farms and that in Australia. And I was like, yeah, sack that, I'm not doing that. Literally, I said yes, and they literally flew us back business class like the next day. I was a taxi from like this place called Mission Beach all the way to Cairns, and I flew back, and that's where I walk in with like a pure backpack on.
That's incredible. Did you get asked to do it?
No, we were obviously doing, like we say, the events. So we were doing the events at the time. So we touched on this in the intro that we did before you got here, saying he was asking like what happened when Geordie Shore wanted to film at one of the events. So obviously I spoke to them quite frequently, but it was more like, oh, they want to film at one of the club nights.
Oh, we did it. There's some places we didn't want to go on, like.
Well, we were just saying you weren't allowed to do digital, were you? Like, the digital wouldn't let them do it, but we were saying did persistence quite a lot. So he said, so we actually were getting onto it, and literally as we were getting onto it, I think you rang, just say you were nearly here, so we wrapped it up and finished. But what I always remember is, so Geordie Shore would want to film, and then what you'd do is they'd ask which area, and we normally went for the VIP area, and that's why you'd always, we're saying the sunken booth. Remember how good the sunken booth was?
I remember how my birthday at Tup Tup, mate, and I filled the club, mate. The host of my birthday at Tup Tup, like the whole of Tup Tup.
Ridiculous.
I think the normal people who could come in, they were running out the first little bar, and I had like the whole club, mate. There was loads of them, man. But there's a big photo of like about 40 were like in that sunken booth, mate.
Because obviously you know that like the sunken's different now, isn't it? And I love the refurb they've done, but I miss the sunken booth so much. It was so good how they had it. But obviously, yeah, so they'd do it, and Geordie Shore would film in the VIP, and everyone else wouldn't be allowed in the VIP. But then if you always remember, the security guards, like the Geordie Shore security guards, they were always like at the sunken booth, weren't they? Get in. So it always became like a roadblock on the stairs, didn't it?
Oh, they are roadblockable as well.
Yeah, I know. So they were like, everyone was trying to like get on the stairs to look down on the sunken booth, weren't they? But it always became a nightmare because like that's where the toilets are upstairs, aren't they? So always that was the nightmare whenever Geordie Shore was filming, because it was always that roadblock.
Would you imagine trying to get lads in as well, man? Like the lads, let's get all the cameras on, everyone, all the people on the stairs
looking on.
Fucking me.
And then you just see it one by one, like the top girls, they just sort of go missing from the dance floor and like head towards the VIP, and you're like,
but to be honest, that happened on normal nights as well. Them unisex toilets were the best thing ever.
Yeah. Have you ever had like a super creepy fan who's like stalked you?
This right. This is weird as fuck. Speaking of tub. So one night I went to Persistence.
Right.
This was ages ago, right? And some lass walks up to us, right? And she just goes, "Hiya," and I'm like, "Are you right?" She was like, "It's me." I'm like, "You right, me?" Like, you're like, "Are you right?" And she's like, "Yeah, like I'm arranging to meet you." I'm like, "What are you about?" I'm like, she's like, "I've been messaging you for like a week," and I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Show me this." Like, I was like, "Have I been that like smashed?" I can't remember. Anyway, she's showing us this, right? It's not me, it's someone else on a different like Facebook profile of me, right? And the messenger, and she's like, "Oh my god, I feel so embarrassed. I've been sent topless photos." I was like, "Give us a look." I was like, this was actually kind of fit. But she was like, literally, this kid be seeing a message, and he arranged to meet her in Tub, right? Yeah. Like that night, and she was on her own. And I was like, the coincidence of me being there, I don't know what happened anyway. Anyway, I was like, "Oh, sorry, but it's not me." And she's like, "What, you're just going to leave us?" I was like, "Whoa, yeah, man, you're crazy." Anyway, I ended up shagging her that night, which is kind of funny. But like, at the end of the day, I was just like, "This is weird." Like she was like follow us around all night. She was like, "I can't believe it." I was like, "It's not even me, man. Message you, man. Look, I'm showing you. Like, this is my thing and that." And I was like, "Oh yeah, at the end of the day, fucking, I'll just take you home."
I was going to say, so you've been catfished then? Has that happened a few times or not?
Oh no, not catfish.
Was that not catfish? No, like as in, sorry, she got catfished. Yeah, she got catfished by.
Well, she hit the jackpot, didn't she?
She got Scotty. People have tried to like catfish, pretend to be you. Was that happened a few times?
Oh mate, listen, I couldn't even. I remember I tried to send a Tinder once and I was blocked because I had that profile. I was going to meet up with them, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man. Well, there's no one like me. So if they're ever going to meet anyone, they're just going to be completely disappointed."
Because I imagine that must be the worst with having such like a big profile and stuff. That when people try and
not really, because if I used to use Bumble, mate, and I used to literally just say that, and I literally just have obviously girls when she fish, it was like, and I was just like, right, okay. And then when I was pissed, I was like, right, message everyone back. It was mint. Every time I swiped, it would automatically, "You're matched."
You ever been barred from anywhere in town?
Yeah, I got barred from. Where have I been barred from? I got barred from Grays a while ago.
That seems like quite the achievement, to be fair.
Oh, mate, I was absolutely smashed. I think because normally when I'm out, right, if I'm out with like just one of my mates or I'm out with a girl, I was out with the last. I was at Swingers. And basically, if
anyone listening, Swingers is the name of an event. Scotty, just if you don't know Newcastle nightlife, Swingers is the name of the event. Scotty wasn't out with the last.
That's funny. I just seen Rob today as well. That's mad. But anyway, yeah. So I was in there, and this kid's like grabbing his going, "Yeah, you get a photo with that." Like, and I'm like with the last I'm getting with him, like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Mate, man, get up!" So I just slap him like that. But then, like, I think the manager came over and he's like, "What are you doing? That's me, pal." I went, "You shut up." But I was out of it, mate. And then they were like, "You're going to have to leave." And I was like, "What?" And I was just going mad. I was outside going like this. I was going, this, that. "Oh, I'm going to get back in. No, this, I'm going to ring these people and that." Literally, battery dad had a whack on me, own mate. But like, literally, I went to try and make. I'm allowed it now, but I went to try and make peace with him like a year later. And I was like, "Oh, let's speak to the manager." And they're like, "He won't come on to speak to you." Like, I was like, "Why?" I was like, "He's scared. I'm not going to do that." I was just drunk. But like, it just shows you, like, because people. Like they see me as dead approachable, so they'll just come up and they'll be like, "Oh, Scotty." They all have big meatheads coming up and going, "Come here," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, what now?" And they go, "Can I get a selfie?" I'm like, "I need both, mate."
You ever been bad for anyone?
Sinners.
Oh my god, I was there as well. That was
wasn't the same incident, was it? Like you?
No. One of the doormen hiked me, mate. Had a broken arm, and he hiked him down the stairs at the back.
No.
And I'm not going to tell you what happened after that, but that's the reason why I got bored.
I think I'm still bad from Northumbria University. I was DJing like an end of term thing, and the guys from Chris Moyle's show was there. Like he presents on 5 Live now, and I just got a bit mortal. I was out the back with the guy John Tunley, who used to be their tent manager, and he had like a boot full of booze, and we just stood there and got mortal. And then I went on and was like, "Come on, you use the finish now." And this guy was like, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, "How?" And started giving him grief, and then the doorman chucked us out. And I'm bad, still bad now. Northumbria University.
But see, but then the people watch this podcast and be like, "Oh, well, if you bring Scotty T down, you'll be Harry again."
Have you ever been bad from like? You ever been like thrown out of bananas? You ever been like thrown out of somewhere you're actually working?
Well, oh, right, okay, yeah. So here's another one. I was banned from a place in Wales.
Right.
I'm not going to say where it is because I basically got there and I was that stressed because it was a mission. It was in the middle of nowhere, like this place in Wales, and I basically got there and I just went, right, fuck this. I just downed a full bottle of tequila, like literally off the bounce. And literally, right, I ended up like fighting with like 2 lads, and then I got arrested like a couple of like weeks later. Like they come up, they were like, "Oh look, you need to come to the police station." This and that. And I was like, "No," I didn't do that. I didn't do anything, man. I was like, they were starting on me. They started on me. They only had the most HD 4K footage of it. And I was like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "Yeah, okay, fair enough." Like, and literally,
did you not remember it?
I went in, necked the drink, left, and literally. That was it.
So did you not remember any of the fight?
No, it wasn't a fight. It was me just being dick.
Really?
It wasn't a fight. It was just me.
It's because like they were like, I was like, "Oh look, can I have like a booth out the way?" And that man, they put us on like a stool in the middle of the dance floor, and I was just like, "Oh yeah." But there's been a few times, especially when they want to get rid of us. Like, "Oh yeah," I'm like, "I've just made you a fortune. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I want to like drink as much as I can and annoy the living daylights out of you."
What was yours? What were you barred for?
Basically, we had a lock-in, and the CCTV camera showed we're just absolutely plowing the bar dry at like 6 o'clock in the morning because the cleaners got in, and the cleaners were like, there was like a group of like 12 people here getting absolutely fucked last night. So that
happened to me in Cosmic as well, like, but look, yeah, no, I understood well that, like, and I like literally they just came in, "What's going on?" Yeah, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, like rinsed the bar and everything, like.
Worst part is I was DJing for the same company at the time as well, so like I wasn't allowed in Sinners, but I was allowed in like any other venues I was DJing at.
I always remember Flyer Sean. You know, he used to do the door at Shindig, and he did all the flyers and that with Gary, and he used to get barred all the time from from Digital or Shindig, and so he'd be working on the door of the club, but he wasn't allowed in because he was bad.
Unfortunately, no interesting stories from me. I'm yet to be barred from anyone.
You're too sensitive.
I am.
Come out with us three. Come out with us three. We'll get that sorted real fast for you.
I've also never been arrested, and I feel like if I went out with you three on a mad one, I would get barred and arrested. So
how many?
I'm in double figures in the arrested.
You spent the night in the cells in Newcastle.
Oh, mate. Honestly, like there's been this is
too many.
Not like, mate, some of it's just for now, like, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? That's going to kip me.
It's how you know how drunk you are, because the last time I spent the night in the cells was an altercation of a taxi driver on like Scotswood Road.
You've told me this story.
Yeah, and an altercation, and I slept like a baby. And bear in mind, the lights are on. It's a concrete bed, and when you sleep well in those conditions, you've had far too much to drink. Like,
well, I'd far much to drink, mate. I'd been like, I got in, I thought I was right. I started impressive snacks. And then I was like, I've got a headache and that. Like, they were just, I was answering. I just went to sleep, mate. But they like, "Oh, your sister's like," it went from my sister coming at like 10 o'clock in the morning to like 6 o'clock at night. And I was like, oh. Then looking at they're probably just watching us on the camera going, "Oh, look at him." Because obviously once I was awake, I was like,
come out, look a massive.
I had nothing to do, mate. I was just literally around the place.
No, I've never been arrested before. One of my best mates did. I won't.
Did you get told off at school?
Me, I got arrested in school, right? Don't know.
I'm like, I don't get arrested. So he's like, well, you at least got a detention in school. I was going to say, I was actually quite swatty in school within reason. And then he comes out with, I got arrested in school.
I'll tell you this, right? So I got arrested for 3 things in school. One of them was for nicking, me and my mates decided...
what school did you go to, by the way?
Pondian High.
Right.
So I nicking car badges. Right. We had a little thing where me and my mate, well, it wasn't me, it was my pal actually, we took like the thing off the Rolls Royce and snapped it off. And then I decided to carve someone's name and saying "was here" on the side of the car. Didn't know why. Got arrested for that. Second one was in the leisure centre, Pontyland. We jumped over where the groundskeepers are, where they have all the lawnmowers and that. And when the officer nicked about 50 porn mags. I'm not even joking. Nicking 50 porn mags.
Who's reporting that they've had 50 porn mags stolen?
They were like, "What do you steal?" I was like, "Literally 50 porn mags." Like, literally got done for it. Like, obviously, I was a.
Can you imagine that in court when they're going Exhibit A. Exhibit B. Exhibit C.
I had a lot of me time. You know what I mean?
Folding it down.
And then the third one, mate, I was doing chin-ups on like this wooden bus stop, and literally in Merton Way, where the shops on Ponty, and it just caved in.
Criminal damage.
Like vandalism.
So the one I was just saying there's like what happened to one of my best mates. Again, I won't stitch him. You know him. He's a good friend of mine, and like I say, you've met him plenty of times. Literally, I feel so sorry for him. There was like an argument going on outside Lever Club, and this lad was being a dick to this lass. So he went over, as he was getting a bit aggressive with the lass, he went over to go defend the lass. And as he did it, this lad pushed him. And just, I could see it in the distance, because I started walking over just to like try and break it all up. And I could just see it. As he went forward, a police van came round the corner. It was just the time, and he smacked the lad, because the lad had like pushed him when he was protecting this lass, and the police just saw that, and obviously we were like, listen, like, we're sober. He hit him because of this, and they were like, arrested the other guy as well, but he still threw the punch, so he still got arrested. I felt absolutely awful for him. He never gets in trouble either. He was protecting a lass, and he smacked someone and got arrested.
Yeah, that's reminded me of a funny story, mate. I was in Ibiza once, and me and my pals were walking along like along the strip, like where the beach is, like on the like. Where you go from Ocean Beach to Lineker's, and we're seeing this like massive lad like shouting at this lass. She was like crying, he was like grabbing her and everything. And I was like, "Yeah, man, what you doing?" And then obviously we started like fighting with this lad. Then the lass starts hitting me.
No way.
She was like, "Go get off him!" I was like, "I was like, just started smacking this." I was going, "What the heck's even going on?" He was just like, she was like, "Going help!" And then like literally like my mate starts fighting with him, and I'm like trying to keep this lad of her, and then she just starts punching me in the head.
No way.
And I was like, "Eh?"
How do you even react to that?
And then I was walked off, and I was like, "Go on!" I was like, "Have a domestic violent thing with your boyfriend." Like, I don't care.
You and I Ibiza recently, right? How was it?
Oh, mate. It was great. I lost my phone, like I split my foot open, like missed like 3 flights home, spent an absolute fortune. It was fantastic.
Well, so how long have you been going for? Like how's it changed from when you first started going? Like, did you start going like 10, 15 years ago?
I went when it was like, I went when high was space and that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and obviously like the Jets apartments and all that, like in Bora on a Sunday, and like when the Ibiza Rocks was like all the Ibiza Rocks.
Yeah.
I was there when Dizzy Rascal that were on, like, you know what I mean? Like it was, but now again, it is still good, like, but it's just a nightmare when I go there, mate. If I go to Ocean Beach, mate, it's just like swarm. It's good.
Yeah.
Have you done much stuff with like Wayne? Have you done like have you worked with him for doing personal appearances and all that kind of stuff? Or is your personal appearance you just turning up?
They're a rework like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I don't turn up, but I don't get anything for it, like, but I get like looked after well by them, you know what I mean? Always have done, and that's the thing with them though. They don't need that like sort of approach, but they don't need a book. I mean, obviously, like they'll have like, I mean, mate, even cut me the last year when I went. Had like literally the owner's bed and that booked the Ocean, everything like that. Like they literally give us it, and made me mate like slept in. And then literally, I got a message off the last saying, "Oh, right, okay, Conor McGregor's got your table." So he'd walked in randomly, right, and he was on my table. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be there because there was no one on it. He just took that table. I was like, "You have my life."
You didn't square up.
I couldn't even square myself up, mate. And I was literally like, "Oh my God," I would literally just went there and say, "Just dig it as hard as you can."
I was going to say, if there's one person you don't say anything.
Hi, Conor. Nice to meet you. Can you do us a favour and kick the fuck over us?
Well, Shaq told the story, didn't he, about Dana White giving away his tickets to Dan Bilzerian for UFC.
Yeah.
Him and Ben Hemsley were in Vegas, and they had these front row tickets, but when they turned up, it was like a system error, and they just couldn't give him the tickets. And he's like, he heard the guy on from the UFC on a podcast going like, "Oh yeah, Dan Bilzerian just rang me up, asked if I could sort it out," and he went, "I'll just kick a couple of kids out the fucking seats."
Mate, that's why you see Ben Hemsley, mate. I've known Ben for ages, mate, and listen, I went to Elrond when I was in Last Beef and he was headlining it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was at the front, what's going on? Like, you know what I mean, mate? He's doing so well for himself.
Oh, absolutely smashing
mate, it. It's mental.
Yeah. Have you thought about opening like a bar or a nightclub or anything?
Mate, you know what it is? I had talks like with Nigel like years ago about like doing stuff and that like that, but like, I mean, it's a touchy thing. I mean, back before lockdown, I mean, like goldmine, you know what I mean? Like, but like me cousins open places and that, like, but like it's like I say, it's seasonal. Like, and the students aren't the same.
No.
Like, I mean, they're still wicked, but they're not the same.
But you know that, I mean, like, you used to wander into my DJ booth on a Monday at Digital occasionally, do you know what I mean? And that club used to just be... That club used to just be insane on a, you know, every night of the week, but on a Monday, 2,000, 2,500 people.
Pretty much, like, we're legends that was there, mate. Like, it was like everywhere was busy.
Yeah.
You would go out any night of the week, and there would be, like, at least, like, 4 or 5 clubs rammed.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was, like, berserk. Now it's like... I don't really see, like, even, I don't know what it's like when the students here, but like pre-bars and that, like, loads of them shut down.
It definitely, like, obviously, I'll go in work mode for a second, but obviously the guys that I am, obviously,
what's that?
But
when he just spiels out loads of corporate stuff, like the company line about things.
But,
don't know anything about that.
Obviously, we're going live with this podcast on Tuesday, but we're recording today on the Friday. So last night was A-level results, and obviously we had an absolute smasher. Like, shout out all the guys. Loose Days, we did Collingwood Street last night, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And then we also had the same in Leeds, Secret Crush at the back room. So like, it was a big night last night for A-levels. But I think it's, like you say,
nowhere near as big as it used to be, though. Like, I'm not taking anything away from what you did last night.
House of Smith, Madam Coos, Fruitas.
But my point is, what I was just about to say there, like, we had an absolute smasher last night. But if you remember, like you're just saying there, back in the day, we would have had an absolute smasher, and everyone else would have.
And
as
even
well.
because
So, like,
you would have stage one, UBX, all of them, every single.
So the way I describe it is like, so on our events, like, they're still what they used to be, but it's only that on certain nights. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, back in the day, you'd go out on a Thursday, for example, there was 5. In fact, there was 6, wasn't there? There was.
I used to go to the Newcastle Uni nights week. So I went to Newcastle Uni, so I used to go to the posh nights week, and I was at Raji.
Arcane, you just got Arcane.
Before lockdown.
End of the term, Arcane, that was end of the term dance ones.
What was it? Zap.
Oh, wow.
But do you know what I mean? Before lockdown, there was 6 Thursdays that were massive. Now you'll get 1. Do you know what I mean? So
I do know where that one is now.
Yeah, well, the guys at Jungle smash the Thursdays, don't they?
Is it a tub?
Yeah. And obviously the skin does well as well. And I think, like, that's the point, isn't it? It's like a couple or one. Like, whereas before, like you say, everywhere was busy.
And you were saying
every
about
pre-bar was
busy.
What was it? Liquid or
Icon? Yeah.
Everywhere, man. There was loads. Like they used to. Like I say, like a lot of places just aren't even like really.
And again, you still get it, but obviously it's like a one night per venue. Like I say, last night, what a result! But my point was, a couple of years ago, everyone would have been them same numbers everywhere.
Yeah. Thing is,
you've got to work harder now.
If you go out, the reason. What do you think's been the reason for that, though? Mainly, though, because I don't think it's lockdown, because everyone still wants to get on the piss, don't they? Everyone loves it.
I mean, a couple of things is whether I'm right or wrong with it, but a couple of reasons, in my opinion. I think during lockdown, a lot of people drank so much over lockdown and got out of the habit of going into a nightclub environment, and they drank in different ways, day drink and things like that. But also the fact that everyone drank so much in lockdown, then when clubs reopened, it was the most insane clubbing experience like ever, probably that period. So then they went out, they were probably drinking every day during lockdown, doing the quizzes and stuff. Then they went out pretty much every day after that. And then it came 2022, you know, when obviously everything was going on with the war with the Ukraine and Russia, and the costs of everything started changing. Obviously the living crisis arrived, and I think then it was like, oh God, like the prices of everything are going up.
But these student halls are still getting rammed. Like there's new builds everywhere, man. There's like student halls, but you come out left, right, and centre.
But obviously, cost. Everyone's got more expenses now. Everyone's living expenses have gone up. And
but they've already pot noodles for fucking free. You know what I mean, man? They can buy like a 5 kilo bag of rice and just share that.
And I think students do. Like, students will always party, but I think like your average customer maybe has drank so much during lockdown, drank so much when all the clubs reopen, and they're going, do you know what now? Like, I need to look at my lifestyle, and I think it calmed down a little bit. I think it'll come back round. Like, I think it'll absolutely come back round in terms of.
I think this year, this freshers will be a big test.
Oh, and it isn't obviously.
It's not as cheap to drink versus income, though, is it? Like, I was on
free trebles for.
Well, I was on Osborne Road.
$4.95.
Yeah, bar 28, mate.
Yeah. Oh.
It was free trebles.
But I was on Osborne Road. They haven't got the happy hour buttons anymore. They've gone from everywhere. It's not as cheap to go out.
But it's harder for business as well, because obviously all their costs have gone up.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, I think now you just got to work harder, like work a lot harder to make your events busier and your clubs busier, and everyone's not going to be.
Just got to book Scotty T. Surely that's how you get your events busy.
And I'm still full force. Me, like, that's changed with me.
Do you do much in Newcastle these days?
I don't do much in Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle.
This is before this podcast.
Everyone in Newcastle, you know what I mean, man? I would feel weird advertising me. So
yeah, this is before this podcast. New business plan. Screw everything that
come see the biggest cunt in North East.
Scotty T DJ in every Loose Days event.
Scotty T and Tazo.
I tell you what, the only thing what I did do in Newcastle when I done Dream Boys.
Yeah,
mate, I rammed that theatre, like, you know what I mean, like literally, like.
How long did you do Dream Boys for?
I did like a tour with them, just for one lap. One lap, mate, but it was good though, mate. Like the reaction I got, because everyone from Newcastle, they all me like school pals, like me mum that went. Obviously, I wasn't getting me chopper out and that. Like it was like
very tasteful.
Nah, there was only two people doing that, man. You had like Black Stallion at the end who got his out. That was like the finale, but everyone was like, "Whoa, yeah, I'm going home now." But,
I didn't know it was a fucking horror show.
Well, mate, I just done like I was only on literally for like 2-3 minutes. Mate, I got paid a fortune, but like the reaction I got from Newcastle when I came out, mate, it was like. I do the top one was like and I take my hat off to like an Adele shoot and everyone just goes ballistic, mate. The girls just start like kicking the fuck out of each other. But mate, the reaction in Newcastle, mate, was brilliant. But if I was to do a club, Freshers, don't get us wrong,
yeah,
it has worked before. But that's probably the only time.
You're too busy.
If it was now, everyone's just like. Where I am.
I was in Spotlight with him the other night.
Yeah, I was in Spotlight with him. You know what I mean?
So
what's
the future plans? Like, what is in your mind for what?
Oh, mate, I've got business plans left, right, and centre, mate. So I've got more TV work coming up.
Yeah. What we're going to see on TV wise? Can you talk about that?
I've been asked to do a few different shows. Like I've been asked to do the Australian Jungle.
Yeah.
I've been asked to do Celebrity X on the Beach. I've been asked to do Celebs Go Dating. I've been asked to do Dancing on Ice. I've been asked to do. You know what I mean?
And what can
how would you do with Dancing on Ice?
How would I do with it? I'll probably just be like shagging on ice. Nah, man. I'm a good ice skater, though.
Oh, so you would do well on it?
No, I think I would, you know.
You're a good ice skater.
I think people... I can ice skate.
Shagging on ice. The Scotty T special. Class,
so surely you go in the jungle. Like, surely that's the boy. Like,
well, you know what I mean, though? Because... I'm not sure how it works with, like, because I won Big Brother. I think you couldn't go in the actual, like, the normal Celebrity Jungle.
Right.
For, like, a certain period after.
Right.
But, like, when I do go in, I'll just win that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Class.
You know what I mean?
You got my vote. You got my vote.
I want to do my own documentary on mental health.
Okay.
Because if you haven't noticed, like, I've got obviously ADHD.
Yeah.
And I like people think that like it's.
Have you gone through that whole process? Have you been like diagnosed, had medication?
I've been medicated since I might as well have been. When I was born, they literally went, he's fucked him. No, literally, since I was like 7.
Right.
I've been medicated. I was all the way through school. Then I got like re-diagnosed adult, and then I seen a proper consultant in London. Like I've had like, you know what I mean. Like I take the medication. It doesn't really do much. Like, you know what I mean. Like, but I don't take the medication where it like makes us like a robot, because I'm me. You know what I mean. Like I'm always on a mission. That's why people always think like, oh, look at him, like he's wrecked. But it's like, no, I'm just like a million miles an hour all the time. You know what I mean. But I
had a similar conversation with Robin about that.
Yeah,
because Robin Armstrong was saying the same. He's like ADHD as well.
He just did a video.
1,000 things going for your mind, mate. I can either do a week's worth of work in an hour or an hour's worth of work in a week.
He just did a video today ago, and he went to some specialist. So it's about ADHD, and the guy went, "Have you had the COVID vaccine?" And Robin was like, "I'm not fucking having that." But
I wasn't even me. I'm scared of needles.
So what else have you got going on? So you're going to be on TV. What else have you got going on?
Well, obviously, like there's.
You've still got your OnlyFans.
I've still got my OnlyFans. It's still just what do you call it, like hibernating.
People can still sign up.
Oh, I think it's.
Are you plugging his OnlyFans?
Of course I am plugging everything he wants to plug. You should see him plugging on his OnlyFans.
I do feel bad for the gay community because we've been missing out recently when I've been hibernating. No, because they love it, mate. You know what it is, mate? Me swing me pipe around that, man, everything, man. They love it, mate.
Scott, we saw before the podcast started. You give us a little preview.
Did you do a lot of person appearances on for the gay scene and all that kind of stuff? Was that?
I've done you know, I've actually done like for like drag shows. I've done RuPaul's Drag Race and that. Like I've done like a thing for them. That I've done like theatre shows. I was in a pantomime and that. Like obviously that's not like that, but I do loads of different things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm open to all that sort of things. Me, yeah, man. I remember when I used to sell shots in bloody Powerhouse, man. Remember our first day, I used to sell shots with my cousin. I walked in, I had 2 bottles, and then literally just come up and go, "Hello," just grab your dick. And I was like,
At least buy a shot first.
Couldn't drop the bottle. Even like
Have you done a Geordie Shore reunion? What's the deal with that?
I went on a Geordie Shore reunion for a bit though, but I didn't recognise all the people there. Like I was like, I was like, who are these titties? Like, I was like, you'll never ever be me. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these people who go on, man, they'll all try and be me, but they never will be.
When's the last time you saw Gaz?
Haven't seen Gaz in Donkey's family man now, and he's down in Manchester. I seen Aaron the other day, but I haven't seen Gaz in ages or heard from him.
You've been to any Aaron's fights? I
mean, all his recent ones I've been away. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do like going to them. Like, I mean,
he's smashing it with that, isn't he? He's really smashing
well, mate, he's full Floyd Mayweather.
Mate, it's crazy.
It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like,
mate, the fact that he's even accepted that is incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is brave and absolutely fair play to him.
Like, I would get paid to get knocked out by him.
I was going to say, have you ever thought about doing fighting?
Well, mate, you remember I was going to be doing.
Well, he has been. He's told us about 3 stories already.
Yeah.
Ultra H. Do you remember the Ultra HD footage?
Professionally.
But you know, I was going to be doing one with that Stephen Bay. Remember years ago, the arena.
Oh, yeah.
But, mate, do you want to know what happened with that though? So basically, the company was a Polish company. What had it right?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh yeah, we want to do this. We're going to bring it all. We're going to do all this and that. Like basically films were shit. And they were like, all right, okay, you're going to get paid X amount for it, right? And then they were like, right. Well, it was meant to be like 10 grand on signature contract, and then a certain amount, mate. 3 days before the fight, I hadn't even got the 10 grand.
Really?
So I said, yeah. I was like, they're basically going to try and pay me based on the ticket sales.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare. I went, sack this, man. I was like, I'm losing money on the place. I was like, I'm not asked about that. I was like, listen, unless you pay me, I tell you what, I'm not doing it. And they went, oh, I'll tell you what, if you just come down to the conference and say you're not doing it, or come down to the conference and say you're doing it, we'll give you 15 grand cash. I went, oh, fuck off. I went, if you give us the money before the fight, I lived up the road from the arena. I would have went outside my boxes and went, how in?
Yeah.
But that was the thing, like, so the same problem happened with Marty, even though he'd done the main fight, he still didn't even get paid properly for it.
Really?
I know.
Really?
So look, I dodged a bullet there, like.
So, would you do that? Would you do, like, because you were talking about your promoter fighting, like, would you get in the ring?
I don't know.
You don't remember the fight nights?
Yeah.
But I remember back in the day when it was a promo ones, I was doing promo and Nemo would fight me. I was like, how am I? Surprised? Boxes, please. Everyone was like, no.
I don't know. I've only ever messed about with boxing. Like, but we used to do boxing training for our football teams because it's ridiculous fitness, isn't it? Boxing.
Yeah,
we used to do that, but I've never had like a proper one. I mean, I don't know if I would. I'd have to train properly.
Yeah, but hands like that, mate. Look at that, man.
I was going to say, bloody hell, I've got massive hands.
I make sure to be gloves, mate.
Okay, I don't want to fight him. Anth, you want to take him?
I've got hands of a small child.
Pick up like a small kid like that.
Fucking hell. But
shook his hand when he walked in. I thought I was shaking hands with 5 sausage rolls from Greg.
I've actually broke someone's arm by shaking it before, you know.
Fucking hell. That's another story. So obviously that one didn't go ahead. Have you thought about it since? Would you do it?
Mate, I don't want to ruin this face, mate. Mate, alright, get the better look. It's weird. I've had no work done either. People, I go, how old do you think I am? They go, 26, 28. And I go, I love you. And I go 32, and then I go.
Well, we said it on the phone before as well. You said, like, when did we actually meet? And they asked this question to me before, and I can't remember. I think we just literally bumped into each other on a night out, and then kept on bumping into each other.
Were you aware of like what we was doing promotion wise before you started Persistence, or like timeline? Where does that fit together?
Because obviously,
I'd be on the town scene forever, maybe.
So, but obviously. I started Persistence 2012. You were doing Dirt Is with Jermaine.
Aye, but I was...
but you weren't like...
I was going to fuck Ireland, mate, but I was like...
Right, but it was when I started Persistence, you would have been at Dirt Is at the time. But I obviously knew Jermaine, so I kind of spoke to Jermaine. So we'd never spoke like business-wise. And then I think, like I say, the first time I met you was at the end of a night, like...
When I was being annoying.
Not like Purdue Corner, with probably just everyone, you know, like when everyone used to go to Purdue or go to House of Smith or Tup Tup, and then everyone sort of just like left, they congregated around Subway, and then they sort of...
Everyone was like, where's that Purdue?
Yeah, like it did, there was always a congregation, because going back to how town is slightly different at the minute, like I say, the event, the club event will be as busy as it always was, because obviously...
To the very end as well.
That's your job as a promoter, to make sure that the club event's busy, but because it's only one club event, it's like... That club event finishes, everyone goes. Whereas back in the day, there was 3 or 4 clubs that were busy. The clubs would all finish, and then everyone sort of congregated in that area.
That's right. Clubs. Where was the late one back then though? Where was the late one? Because I remember, like I was on Zap earlier. Then they used to do the after party. Can you remember the Den? It was like 7 in the morning. It was like,
any nightclub you have to go downstairs into is always a
But then what you said about like the 3 different clubs you go to, like you go to one, you'd be like, oh yeah, like oh lads, like, we'll go there, man, I'll try and find something funny somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like it's just like club hop and that.
Yeah.
And then it was mint, but now it's like,
there's only one.
There's only one.
Yeah. But it's because, like I say, at this current moment in time, there's only enough people go out into the city and town to fill one event.
I think the big thing with it now, though, when you go to Newcastle, like, see 5 years ago, you'd never imagine somewhere like the Market Shaker literally being ramped till 3 o'clock in the morning.
I used to go there when it was liquid.
Yeah.
What was it afterwards? Was it Enigma or something?
I can't remember, mate, but I used to go there. That was one of the first bars I used to go clubbing in liquid.
Really?
Mate, I used to put glasses and a shirt on that, man. I used to get in.
Ben Sherman shirt. I
used to get in like that. I used to be like, I'm going to get chinned, yeah.
That was the club that I used to go into when I was 16, liquid. And I always remember, I don't know if I've told you this story.
You mean a different liquid, surely?
No, I mean the one round.
You about LQ?
You mean like
LQ, yeah. I mean, that was...
Oh, no, I mean like this is...
Even before that.
Because on that street,
Market Shaker
you had Pig and Whistle, Liquid, Kiss, Cage,
Destiny?
No,
Yell. Afterwards, when it Yell, yeah.
Mate, that's Red Where Revs to Cuba is now, mate.
So this must have literally just been a couple of years.
Flares has always been there. Fair play to them. They've always been there. Old school.
But the other LQ, the big one that everyone used to go, that was I don't know if I've told you this on a previous one, that was the first nightclub I used to go to in Newcastle when I was 16.
I used to be Icon.
Yeah. And I used to use the shout out Gareth. I mean, I probably stitched him there. You probably will never listen to this, but I used to use Gareth's ID all the time when I was 16. And I'd get in with his ID easily when he was 16. As soon as I turned 18 and used my own ID, I used to struggle to get in. I don't know if it's because I'd used his so many times, but I looked more like me on his ID than I did on my ID. It was weird. So I got in.
All the time the door would just be like, they'd just be like, I've got the ID anyway. How old are you? Just go. You just make a date with you. Go, But then they just go, okay, let you in. Yeah. I think sometimes I'd even say that when I was younger.
There was always like 3 clubs you could guarantee you were going to get into. Yeah. Like, it was just depending on which one it was.
Pre-bars now, though, what do you reckon? I mean, at the minute, I know mate, Market Share kills it. Market Share without doubt. Right? I love.
But it's not a pre. It's not a pre. It's just the destination. That's the madness of it. Like it's the destination. You go there and you stay all night.
But it's like so. I used to go there when I was at Attic.
Yeah.
Like that's the way. There's loads. But what's happened to all the other ones?
Yeah, again, I think it's just because there's only X amount of people out in the city per night, whereas back in the day, you would go out and you didn't like...
You'd be down the quayside and everything, man.
Yeah.
28, like, and then there'd be 42, obviously, studio, you know what I mean? Like,
are there any trebles bars left?
Mate,
are there any proper trebles bars?
Basement, mate. Like, all them, mate.
But I think that's what it is, though. So now, for example, you go out, you're going out on a Monday because you want to go to Troppy Loco, or you're going out on a Friday because you want to go to SK, or you're going out on a Sunday because you want to go to Persistence, whereas... So you know where you're going for that, whereas back in the day you wouldn't even care what was on. You would just go, I'm going to Bijou, and then you'd figure out where you go from there, wouldn't you? Exactly. It would just be like that, whereas now I feel like you go specifically for an event on a certain night.
I think the Bigg Market's like definitely picked up, like changed a lot.
Oh, it's totally changed, yeah. Have you been in that WC over there that used to be the toilet and you go down the stairs?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's class, mate. Go down. It's absolutely tiny, but it's absolutely class.
Is that a new one of shagging?
Scott gets his list out. we were on about that because we both said we'd never been in there. So we went down, and obviously I imagine they do very well, but on that one occasion there was no one in at the time, and we only were going down.
Just was it actually like it?
Yeah. It used to be the old public toilets.
I remember it used to be a public toilet.
Is it a champagne bar?
No, it's
not a gin. So they've got the gin closet, and then that was a wine bar.
Just live in. So we'll pop in for 2 seconds after if you want. Because we did that, we hadn't seen it, so we were like, we'll go in, have a look, but then we'll just leave after. But there was no one in, so we went down, and we had everyone like swarm us straight away, didn't they? Like good service, but they're like, oh, can we get this? And we're like, we're so sorry, we're literally just in for 2 seconds and just turned around and went out. And
you been afraid?
It was interesting.
Oh yeah, be afraid. I went there. I think I went there on the opening night.
Yeah, I think I seen you.
You would have not if you seen me. Like
I heard water banging on the toilet door when I went upstairs.
He was trying to get in.
No, I'd be afraid. Like that. What was that? That used to be. What was that? The back of that pub. No, me because they've got loads of the ones. What's it? Humphreys. No, they've got loads of like side bars, everything now. Like. It's just mad, man. Like when I look back the day, it was just trebles bars.
Yeah.
Does Mushroom close now?
No, Mushroom.
No, not that.
Mushroom now closed.
But Basement's gone. Is Sinners still open?
Sinners are still open. I think it only opens like 3 days.
What's next to it, mate? Sam Jacks.
Yeah. With the ball.
Used to be bouncing. Yeah. Used to do the bar crawls and that man over through there. Mm-hmm. But obviously, like in there, what's this? Lofts is shut.
Yeah.
And then does the gate even get busy?
Nah. Wonderbar on my
Remember when you had Mood, mate?
Mood Mondays. That was when I first started going out in town. That was what I used to do. Mood Mondays, and you'd get for £2, you get £1 for a pint, and you get £1 for like a WKD. You'd neck half the pint, and then you'd fill it up and do like a turbo shandy, not a turbo dish.
You used to do this.
I used to do a turbo shandy, yeah. So you get a pint, and neck half the pint. I'm not a big pint drinker, so it was painful. Neck half the pint, and then filled up with a VK or WKD, and a turbo shandy was unreal.
Turbo shandies were smooth off ice, man.
So you do Mood Mondays, then you'd go to Sinners and you'd get Mortal and end up in that cage, and then you'd go to Digi Mondays. That was what we did when we were in college. Mood Mondays.
Digi Mondays, that's still on Digi Mondays, is it?
Not at the minute. Obviously, over like Digital are doing a refurb at the minute, so obviously we're going to be doing the.
Do you get paid every time you mention that?
What they were doing the refurb? Yeah. I feel like
I want a commission of that.
I'm telling you, Scotty T in the toilets again when we get there. Get the DJ back in the toilets.
I'll be like, if any of you lasses have a shit, I swear to God, I'm going to come in there and wipe your ass.
Right, well, let's call it so the cameras don't overheat. Well, Scotty T, thank you very much.
Before we actually finish, we're going to have to. This is the first time ever I'm going to have to say it on air that we're going to have to get you back in probably sooner than later, because I don't even think we've touched the surface.
No, we haven't scratched the surface.
So we'll get you back in, Scotty.
Right, cheers, mate.